today, fittingly, we are talking about large format wines, which we have a lot in front of us. So first of all, what even is a large format wine?
So a large format is a different size of a bottle. So the bottle, the generally speaking one that you see everywhere is a 750. It's a 750 milliliters. But you can find wine in many different formats. So you have the bottles, you have the Magnum, double Magnum, Jeroboam, Imperial, and many other sizes. But the worst thing is that every region has a different name for the same size.
So it can get very confusing.
Exactly.
And so for people who might say, well, where did the 750 milliliters even come from to begin with? You know, why do we think of wine as being one particular size?
So the aging process in large format is so different from one bottle to another that the 750 was the exact size that was the good amount of wine to share for two person, not more.
Right.
And also a good way to age wine in a good conditions and everything. So it was, you know, the right things for everybody.
The compromise.
Exactly.
The compromises, but we don't want the compromise size. We want to go bigger. So first of all, what are the advantages of a wine in a larger bottle? Because there's actually some aging advantages as well, not just like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun and has a good aging. So the thing is, large format are better for aging because there is less oxygen inside the bottles. And the oxygen is what makes the wine age faster. So the less oxygen, the better the aging process. And so a large format, the wine will not have the same taste because it will develop some specific flavors and tests than you won't get in a 750.
The bigger the bottle, the older it is, the more complex it'll be?
It could, yeah, definitely. And it's really funny if you can have a chance one day to try a bottles and try a double Magnum, you will maybe not recognize the same wine.
Right, like if you found the same wine from the same year in different bottle sizes, it would taste totally different.
Yes.
And so what about when you're purchasing a large format, what are the things that you need to know? Is it the same as a regular bottle of wine?
It is, because a wine, you always have to have it lying down, that the wine is in contact with a cork, and you want them in the perfect temperature control place. And the large format is for your big moment, your family event, your wedding, your whatever it is. So you want it to be perfect, but you want to enjoy it first.
And let's talk about opening a large format bottle. Obviously, you know, a Magnum is probably easier than some of the larger ones. You know, are there best practices in terms of decanting, in terms of pouring, in terms of the things that you need to do with a large format?
Yeah, so it obviously depends on the size. There is a lot of person who will maybe decant them. But then decanter you will find easily one for double Magnum, but then after double Magnum it's harder to find.
You might have to have a few decanters on hand.
Exactly. So most of the time people leave it in the bottles or decant it and put it back in the bottle to have it open and put it back then in. But that's, you kind of have to be, you know, into it to really know what you're doing. You can't retry yourself on the first one.
Right.
Get someone who know about that before. And then it's really, the things is on large format. Let me take that one. It's, you take it from here because you can really hold it, and then you hold it at the neck and you pour into a glass. That's the best way to go because you have the stabilization from the bottoms and here to pour into all the glasses.
Right. You do not want to drop your large bottle of wine.
No, you do not. But we'll definitely manage to pour in front of everybody. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, you're there, everybody comes to you like, what is it? And you have such a good time.
Right. It adds a sense of occasion to an event to have a bottle that's so large. And does it need, you know, because of the oxygen levels, you know, does it need to sit out a little bit, or can you really just pour from the glass and go from there?
You can definitely pour from the glass and go from there. A lot of people does.
And just let it have fun. And are there certain wines that you've found that do better in large formats? I mean, obviously you're partial to Bordeaux, but you know, are there certain wines that you think really age better that people should be on the lookout for?
I don't think so. I really think that, like, what I say to my customers is when they want to do a gift for birthday, for just birth, when you have a kid and you're like, it's not the best vintage, how am I going to do? And you're just like, take a large format, because even if it's not the best vintage ever, it will age perfectly in large format. So a small vintage is maybe the best to get for it.
And then what about finding it? You know, because obviously you'll find more places that carry the Magnum size, but for the larger formats, what are the best ways? Obviously people can come here and always find them, but you know, how should people source them out?
I think you don't want to buy it somewhere you're not familiar with, because the storage condition is really important. You're not just buying a 750, you're buying something that can be 6 liter. So you want to make sure you have a right product inside it. And there's a few places, but not a lot. So it's really important to make sure you're going to the right place and ask questions about people. Make sure they know what they're saying.
Right.
At Millésima, what we do is we have a nice selection that people can drink right now or age.
Right.
Because that is really important. And we try to help them find the one they want. And we have that large collection that I think is not available anywhere else. The question is, when do you want to drink it? And for what occasion you want it.
Right. And then go from there.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for teaching us everything we need to know about large format wines. I think I'm just going to run off with this one. No, thank you so much.
You picked the right one.
Looking like a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.